about got this working. I think it's quite difficult to work out what's going on with it sometimes. I set it up before and it was coming up to do a joint uh, live stream with someone. It was asking me to select another person. I was like, wait, that's not what I wanted. Took my hair away. So yeah, happy Saturday. It's been a pretty good day so far. I thought I'd come on a little bit early just to see if I'm able to get the hang of the controls and get any troubleshooting out of the way. I have a little bit of a chance to get the conversation rolling. So this part, there's no one watching just yet. I'm just gonna be waffling on for those of you who are watching this later. So thank you for coming by. It's something that I used to do actually. I originally started watching other people's live streams when they were off air. So it was after they'd already finished doing the broadcast. And I saw that some people would do a thing where they'll just wait for people to turn up before they start talking. And I'd always end up skipping ahead to the next bit. So when I do these, I'm going to see if I can do a little bit of commentary to lead up to it. And that way it's no dead air, as that can be irritating. So things are going well for me. I'm having a good day. It's having an interesting fast. Yesterday was a bit of a dark night of the soul, to be honest. I had a lot of nerves that were still in my system as I came off of the air, and it was surprising. Like, not so much nervous about talking in front of people who have done things in front of audiences before. It's not that part of it that I find nerve wracking. It's about getting things, not making mistakes, which I really shouldn't worry about making mistakes. It's natural to make mistakes. That's how we learn. You don't get anywhere in life unless you make a few of them. And I guarantee I'm going to make loads. Oh, excuse me. So, yeah, I'm trying to find my broadcast on here. Let's see if I can find. Ooh, 80 subscribers. That's gone up again. I appreciate any of you that have subscribed. This is quite cool. It's a little bit concerning as well. I'm not sure if I'm ready for massive audiences. I like the idea of having it small, keep a small community so that then the conversations are a lot easier. It's easier for people to be able to have the conversations in the live chat without having to compete against like thousands and thousands of messages that push your message off the screen. I watched a Japanese podcast yesterday that was doing that, and they were doing a Q&A, and all of the questions were just shooting off the screen. There was hundreds of people messaging in at once, asking for questions. I worry about the channel getting bigger than that, to the point where we can't enjoy the live chats anymore. I like the idea of having a nice small channel so that people can enjoy the full experience of talking to other people in the chat rooms. I used to like being in the live chats. There's all sorts of characters that you meet, all sorts of crazy humor. So I'm gonna give people a chance to start joining while I search myself. How can I not find my own channel? This is how much of a noob I am with technology. So view channel. Okay, that might be it. Yes, found it. Here we go. Now I should be able to have the chat come up here. Whoops. Turn the volume down to avoid a feedback loop. So hello. I see there's 7 of you here. You're more than welcome. Uh, ah, John James Macaulay. Hey, how's it going? Good to have you with us. So, hi, I'm Daryl Golden. This is my channel that I use for sharing my journey. A few years ago, I was a bit of a down and out drug addict. I managed to turn my life around when I found fasting and spirituality, and it's led me to some interesting places. At the moment, I'm doing a fast for both Lent and for Ramadan. I say for Ramadan, it's more during Ramadan, as there's a few things that I don't do, but it's something that I feel that the time of year is perfect, especially now as Ramadan and Lent have overlapped. It's perfect time for being able to exercise that extra discipline, and doing the dry fast from sunrise to sunset. It gives your body a chance to clean out certain areas that are always busy. So even if you're doing a water fast or a juice fast, you find that your liver is still working. whereas dry fasting gives your liver an opportunity to just get rid of all of the dust that's swept under the carpet and deal with all of the problems before they come an issue. So that's the reason I tend to do it. I got into doing things for health reasons, and it's led me towards a spiritual path and towards healthy living, I suppose. I still smoke cannabis, but other than that, I've given up all other drugs. I've given up cannabis for Lent, so it's 46 days without. And I've also given up all food but fruit for Lent. So I'm having fruit juices, smoothies. I've got a watermelon here, which is gonna be my lunch, my dinner after I've broken the fast for iftar. It's a Malika watermelon. Can't really see it; it's reversed. But it's a queen, I believe that means in Arabic. So it's a queen-sized watermelon. It's probably gonna be more than I'm gonna be able to comfortably manage eating today. Hopefully, my partner will share some of it with me. I'll take a bit of the pressure off. So yeah, I enjoy the fasting. I find it relatively easy, to be fair. Like it doesn't sound like it'd be an easy thing going without food and water all day, but I actually quite enjoy it now that I'm used to it. It's my third year of attempting the Ramadan fast, and I think my fourth year of doing Lent, where every year for Lent, either myself and my partner will give up solid food. So we'll just go for a period of 6 weeks of having nothing but juices, nothing but fruit juices. And this year I decided to do it with fruit instead because it's good to have the fibers there, as the fibers help keep you hydrated throughout the day. And I'm used to doing the dry fasting in the mornings. I find that it's quite easy. The other parts of the discipline I like to try and exercise is not swearing. That I find the hardest. Even last year, I managed 30 days of doing the Ramadan sunrise to sunset fast. Did not manage a single day without swearing. It is really difficult to be watching what comes out of your mouth. It's easier to watch what goes in. Like I find that I can quite comfortably not eat and not drink, but it's another level of awareness you need when you're watching. Those of you with kids will understand, like the difficulty of not swearing around children. Like I was always really the worst person to have around my friends' children because the words come out before I've even realized. Like this year, I've managed 3 days without swearing so far, which sounds good, except we're 15 days into Ramadan now, so I really should be doing better than that by now. So still got a lot of improvement, still got a ways to go. I was watching Sheikh Omar Suleiman this morning talking about the things because I was mentioning yesterday on my live stream about it's harder to watch what comes out of your mouth than what goes in. And I saw Omar Suleiman talking about being very careful about what comes out of your mouth. As there was a story of a guy who used to always, when his mum was nagging him, he'd say, "Oh, stop braying like a donkey," and things like that. And then after she died, he was hearing a donkey braying at night. Sometimes it would haunt him. So it's very easy for these things to have a dark turn, and it's very difficult to watch what's coming out of your mouth at these times, especially if you get emotional. I tend to be quite a fiery, emotional type person. I think astrologers there would understand if I said I was an Aries with a Leo rising. And it's something that, when it comes to astrology and tarot cards, I talk about these things a lot on my channel. I don't think that these things are things that should be followed like it's going to predict your future or it's going to tell you everything about you. I think it's more the energies that are present at the point in when you're born. For astrology, it's when you're born, the sun and the planets are in a certain place. And if you were to be acting on autopilot, there's a very good chance that the natural flow will lead you to the patterns that emerge from the different positions of the luminaries in the sky, as that's the influence of the energy. You wouldn't be able to just sit there, look up at the stars, and go, "Oh, I'm going to meet a beautiful woman tomorrow." I don't think it works like that at all. Oh, hey, Eddie Chetty. Right. I appreciate you being here. So, yeah, I do a bit of talking about tarot cards. Whoops, I've got to try and stop knocking this tripod. Do a bit of talking about tarot cards. I do a bit of talking about astrology, and I do a lot of talking about scriptures, as I love all scriptures. I don't have really a favorite. Just I enjoy reading about all different types. I like the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, the Upanishads. I like the Tao Te Ching. I like the Hermetica, the Kabbalion. There's so many different things, and all of them seem to be alluding to the same kind of behaviors and the same way of being. But I don't feel like it's cheating on any religion, like by exploring another. It's in my mind, there is one creator, one source creator that created all, and then there's many angels and many other entities that are like helpers of the divine and aids to the divine. But ultimately, we are all one. That all of us were cut from the same divine cloth, and we're all here in this world of duality or separation so that we can have an individual experience and then come together at the end and share our discoveries. And I believe that that moment when everyone comes together at the end, there may be like a separation, like a judgment day. Like some of us will go into the yin, some of us into the yang, and everyone will have their place. But I don't I don't have all the answers. I'm not a guru. Don't pretend to be. I don't even think that you need a guru. I think that gurus are just here to remind you of who you are. It's a clue in the name. Gee, you are you. So that's basically what the spiritual teachings are about. There's a guy called Muji who I like watching. He does satsangs, and he's able to get you into it's almost like guided meditation to put you in a state where you can remember singularity, the concept of singularity before there's any separation. Like in the Bible, it'd be the waters before God separates the waters from the waters. And it would be when everything is in a singular form. And the first element of the periodic table is hydrogen, which is the main component for water. The water, as we know it, is hydrogen to oxygen, two of the most reactive elements in the history of existence. Yet they come together and form water. Always found that entertaining. So I've got a book here that my partner got me, which is a book of astrology. It tells me where all of the planets were on the day of my birth, and it's got different bits of information based on each. Find that that's a very good thing to have if you're able to find out. I've done it before by going online. You need to know the time of your birth as well as the birth date, and then you're able to find out all of the information, like where the planets were at the time of your birth, what influences were happening in the skies as you were materialized into being. And not that it governs your life. Like I've met a lot of people that don't act like their star sign. I know a couple of people who are Pisces, but they look and act more like Taurians. So nothing is fixed when it comes to the astrological world, in my opinion. I mean, there's plenty of astrologers that would disagree with me, but I find that it's generally these are the influences that will have effect on us if we're running on autopilot. And if we're making conscious decisions, we're able to choose what to do, as nothing in this life is fixed. There are future predictions, but until we get to the time in which it happens and make it manifest, it's still like Schrodinger's cat. It's like until you open the box, the cat is neither alive or dead. Like you could make predictions that the cat would be alive or predictions that the cat would be dead, but until you've actually opened the box, it hasn't yet been set in stone. But then, as I say, this is a channel where I share my opinions, I share my journey and my discoveries. I don't expect people to subscribe to my ideas or to believe in what I believe in. But I would like people to approach with an open mind if possible, because there are some things that I talk about that people believe is Satan worship or idol worship. I'm not telling people to worship idols. I do think that if you are going to be worshipping, it's your choice at the end of the day. Me personally wouldn't worship anything other than our ultimate divine creator, the one who created all. But then again, I don't much feel like the word worship would suit what I would feel. I mean, worship sounds almost like a warship. It's like the flag that you would put on your ship as you go out to war. And that feels like a little bit of a like, yeah, it's good if in terms of that's the flag that you put on for the protection of the people that you care about, the people in your ship. And in that sense, it makes sense. But I don't like the idea of going around and warring with people like the my God's better than your God kind of feel, which, in my opinion, there's only one. If you are English, you call them God, as in goodwill, which is God's will. In Arabic, you would say Allah, as in Al Ilah, meaning the God. In Hebrew, you would say Hashem, which is the name. So these are just translations of the same thing, really. It's like the Tower of Babel. And those of you who have been watching for a little while can tell that I like to babble. I like to continuously ramble on about different bits and pieces. But I am also available here to answer any questions that you might have. So if any of you have got any questions, then feel free to join in. I do my best to keep an eye on the chat. And if not, then you're more than welcome to continue watching me waffle on. Like something that I enjoy doing. Got a few different bits and pieces I could talk about. I haven't really prepared any subjects for today as I'm still getting used to the controls of live streaming, trying not to accidentally press a button that cuts me off of air. Yesterday, I'd done one that flipped the camera around. Also, I couldn't figure out how to stop my camera being on the side because I thought if I turn the whole phone on the side, it shrinks and then it looks like it's not what I was aiming for. But I remember now when I was watching other people's live streams, it was always in the portrait rather than landscape shots. So I'm learning. I will get there eventually if you have patience with me on the technology side of things. Yeah, this is my journey. I was heavily into drinking, smoking, and doing all sorts of drugs and questionable things. I used to go to sex clubs and uh, nightclubs that were very much uh, the description of like dark and oh, I don't know about dingy. I've gone to Slimelight in London and they have like unisex toilets in there where you'd be going in there basically to spend time with other clubbers doing drugs and having sex. And yeah, for me to go from that kind of lifestyle where I fully enjoyed what I was doing, don't get me wrong, the parts of my lifestyle that I started to notice it was really having an effect on my body. Ah, Universe King. Hi, brother. It's great to have you with us. Just talking a little bit about my past. There's a few things that I've done that are like very strange to hear from a person that's now walking a path into good health and spirituality. Like, ah, you're from India. Namaste, brother. It's great to have you with us. I have a few people watching me from India, actually. I saw on my uh, analytics just yesterday that about 5% of my viewers are from India. So it's great. I have this that my partner bought me, which is the, I've forgotten the word for it now, the five pointed, nope, my memory is getting bad. Yep. But it's on the tip of my tongue now. I'll remember it later. At some point in this live stream, I might just randomly throw the word in there. So until then, I'll see if I can try not to lose the trail that I was on. So I've had a past where I was deep into the sex, drugs, and rock and roll vibe, and enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong, not knocking it, not judging anyone. It's great. I'm not from America, no, Universe King. I'm from the UK in Great Britain. So yeah, from around London, which is one of the busy areas. Like I'm doing fasting at the moment, and fasting has given me a heightened sense of smell, which is actually a disadvantage when you live in places that are close to London. So yeah, the uh, what I was saying was the history of me was going to places that were very based around like the sex, drugs, and rock and roll vibe. Whereas I was damaging my body quite heavily. I'm not judging anyone for any of their choices at all. This is like not me trying to tell people that you can, steer away from these things. It's more, this is what I did because I got to a stage where my body was in serious bad condition. I had a really bad pain in my side. I'd go to this place. Newman, sup, man? How's it going? The I would go to McDonald's for breakfast and I would have like three McDonald's breakfasts a day. It'd be something like a double sausage egg McMuffin, a sausage egg and cheese bagel, and sausage and pancakes meal. And I'd eat all of that just for breakfast and then probably have mayo chicken or whatever else in the afternoon. Like I was eating serious levels of junk food and I was drinking heavily. I noticed that during the lockdown, it got especially bad. I was getting drunk before, during, and after work, which is something that you should never do. I was never operating heavy machinery while doing this, mind. I was being responsible. I didn't jump onto the forklift, which I did often drive in the workplace. On days when I went in there and I knew that I'd been drinking, I steered away from doing anything that would cause anyone else any harm. But I was still using a nail gun, which could have caused me harm if my concentration slipped. I could have put a nail through my hand when I was putting some panels together or something. So I realized after a while that wasn't a good look, and I needed to knock it on the head as I was not just drinking before work, but I got addicted to Bailey's Irish cream and I was putting it in my coffee and I'd be bringing little bottles of it into work to add to my coffee for the coffee break in at work. And a mixture of constantly drinking alcohol as well as having McDonald's like 3 times a day, as well as smoking loads, doing the occasional drugs on the weekend. It was really having a bad effect on my body, and I was getting to a point where I was in pain most of the time. It was almost then you're in a catch 22 because you take the drugs to numb the pain. Like I was drinking to the point where I couldn't feel things, and then I'd be comfortable enough to sleep. I had a really bad pain in my side. I ended up drinking quite. Sorry, I said that a bunch of times. Right. The way I managed to combat this was when I discovered fasting. I discovered juice fasting. It was something that I heard from Santos Bonacci after I started learning about syncretism. And then he kept on pointing out that there were all of these philosophers from our time, all of the greatest minds of our time that came out with all of the amazing philosophies that we study today. They were all vegetarian and vegan. And I thought, like, okay, yeah, that's great, but I still like eating my meat and this and that. And it wasn't until I seen about juice fasting, the amount of benefits that you can get from that, and the things that people had managed to get out of their bodies that weren't meant to be there. And I thought I'd give it a try myself. Thought I'd go for just a day, just 24 hours, just see how it worked. And I just went to the shops instead of getting what I would usually get, like a meal deal. I just thought I'll go to the section where it's just got fresh squeezed juice, like it's pasteurized, but most of them are, but fresh squeezed, not from concentrate. And all I did was drink nothing but apple juice for the day. And then after a 24-hour period. My body felt amazing. I was like, this actually wasn't as hard as I thought. I didn't think it was possible to go without food for more than like a couple of meals without suffering. And then I decided I'd give it a try for another day and then see if I could make it to the end of the week. I went 80 days in the end. That was 80 days with no solid food. I was just having mainly juice, but also smoothies. And I think I had a couple of soups in the early days, but then decided to cut out the soup and just try it with just fruit. And that was life changing. Honestly, that was without that, I think I wouldn't be here now. Uh, I think it would have been one of those sad early grave kind of stories of people wondering whatever happened to that guy, and then see that there's an obituary there. Like, I was not in a good way. Um, it was strange because I'd already heard of things like people like Dr. Sebi, who was sued because he was advertising that he was able to cure things like AIDS and diabetes and sickle cell anemia and a whole list of different things that then the New York Times or I think it was that paper decided to sue him for false practicing of medicine. There was the judge. Oh, hey Dan, how's it good? How's it going? It's good to have you with us. Ah, you couldn't pick up a signal on your private jet, but you've landed now, so everything should be okay. I'm glad the landing went smooth. So yeah, this is Dan. He is my number two. He is the guy I would refer to as my agent. So if I ever mention my agent, you'll know who I'm talking about. So yeah, it's nice for you to join us, Dan. I'm just running through a little bit of a story of my background. Actually, I was talking about Dr. Sebi just now, who is a very clever man. He was able to heal a lot of people with medicinal herbs and fasting. 13% agent, a lucky number 13. Sorry to any triskaidekophobics out there. The Dr. Sebi story, he ended up getting sued by the New York Times because he claimed he was able to cure things like AIDS and sickle cell anemia and diabetes. And the judge had ordered for him to bring someone like a witness for every disease that he claimed that he was able to cure. He wanted to bring in a witness with proof that they had the disease and proof that they'd gotten rid of the disease. And like 77 people turned up at the courtroom. They were more than happy to give their time to this guy that had helped save their lives, basically. And he won the case. And he ended up dying under suspicious circumstances. Then also other people like Nipsey Hussle, who was a rapper that was about to do a film about him, ended up dying under suspicious circumstances. And it just seems to be this running theme that people that manage to find things that work as an alternative to big pharma, they end up disappearing all of a sudden. So if you don't see me for a while, you'll know why. Ah, Newman asking, what is my profession? I spent 15 years working with wood, and I was a professional shed maker and fence builder. And at the moment, I'm not working, which was quite lucky. I ended up walking out of my previous job because they decided while I was away that they were going to throw my belongings in the bin. So I turned up, found my belongings were in the skip, and realized that I can't work for a place that has no respect for me. So I left that place. It was bullying tactics that I wasn't going to put up with, but then there wasn't really much I could do about it. Even looking at citizens' advice, it was just kind of the only real possession that I cared about was a Upanishads book that cost £6.99 on Amazon. So it wasn't so much the value, it was more the principle. I decided to leave that job, and it's lucky I've been unable to find work since, because the last couple of weeks I've been able to help out my partner. She had people coming round to her place to change the bathroom, and she doesn't do well with like being in the room with builders. So it was helpful to have me around. I was able to talk to the builders with previous building experience. It made it a lot easier to understand what things were doing, make things work smoothly. Just came here. Ah, sorry, there's a few questions here. Yeah. What is the highest form or last form of consciousness master? I've heard it's ascended master, but personally, I wouldn't know. It's I could only go by what I've heard from other places. Dan, I said you're a number two. What am I trying to say? Nothing bad, nothing bad. Number two is good. I don't mean the order of toiletries. Number two, that is definitely not what you are. You are more the right hand man. You are more the wingman, the not the defecation number. And a high yogi bear, that may actually be the highest form of consciousness master. And Adiyogi, Shinjitsu means reality or truth in Japanese. It's not that I consider myself a master of reality or a master of truth, but it's what I'm aiming to be eventually. It's the journey that I'm on. Nah, Dan, I'm not trying to say that's what you're full of at all. You've actually one of my favorite people to read, if you know what I'm saying. The messages that you put in the chats from back when I was still watching Sam's chats were absolutely brilliant. Even the messages that you were putting on yesterday were cracking me up. Honestly, man, you're one of the funniest guys I've ever met. So, yeah, it's great to have you all here. This is pretty much what I do. I just started doing the live streams, but otherwise, I was making videos just talking about different links between things, different things that I find fascinating. Adiyogi, how do I practice meditation? The best way is to sit in stillness and silence. Like, if you've never tried fasting before, I'd recommend fasting for a little while because that quietens your body down. You manage to get rid of a lot of urges that might interrupt you. When I used to try meditation before the fasting, I would sometimes find that I would feel hungry and I would get some of the hunger signals, and then I'd be getting the thought process like maybe I should eat before I do the meditation. But all of it is just trying to pull you away from that stillness and silence. The main thing that you've got to try and remember to do is to allow the thoughts to happen. You're not trying to force yourself not to think, but you allow the thoughts to appear and then dissipate. Just try not to feed them, not to give them any energy, and to recognize when there is thoughts there. And after a while, you can zone out and kind of your eyes glaze over almost. And it's like you manage to achieve almost to where there's just a humming going on in your head. For me, I've got tinnitus. So what I get like the sound from my ears coming at all times. What I try and do is focus on just the humming and allow myself to zone out to the humming of the tinnitus. But for a lot of people, it is a lot easier. You manage to quieten the body, and then it's about trying to quieten the mind. It's mentioned in the Bible as Jesus said about trying to rid people of certain demons. Some demons require prayer and fasting. And I think what he was getting at with that is that it takes not just fasting of the body to rid yourself of anything inside of you that might be giving you these chemical signals, like any parasites that may have found their way in, uh, but to try and fast of thought. So it's like taking a vow of silence, but in the mind. And after a while of letting your thoughts dissipate, you can achieve that state. Now, I'm not able to be in that state for long, and that is something that I do try and practice. But practice makes perfect. It's also stillness helps if you're able to find a position where you can sit perfectly still, which I find quite difficult as I feel that my body is always moving slightly. But practice makes perfect with these things. Oh, random buzzer noise there. They've not quite fixed the buzzer properly, so it doesn't make a buzzing sound anymore. Oh, 1 sec, I've got a text. Ah, right. It was an Uber for my partner. She is enjoying her last day of eating before the fast, as she's going to be joining me tomorrow on the fast for the remainder of Lent. Um, it's going to be quite a challenge. Like, just having nothing but fruit is quite difficult. I'm not sure if any of you've tried that. Just eat nothing but fruit for a day. It's juicy fruits. Um, one sec. Adiyogi, what is life? What you think about it? Good question. I think that life is a place that you come to experience the physical realities. Like outside of here, there would be other realms that we can exist in, but this is the place to experience physical touch and being. The physical world is often associated with the number six. And as we're born into flesh, we are given the number of the beast, which is 666. And if you look at what our flesh is made of, which is carbon, which is element number six on the periodic table, and carbon 12 has six protons, six electrons, and six neutrons. So that would be the 666. The carbon makes good flesh, which is, I believe, from car meaning carrier, or carne meaning meat, and bon meaning good. So it makes good flesh. And we are here in the flesh to experience things like the carnal desires that you get from being in the physical world. Like they say that this is Satan's realm. I believe it's more Saturn's realm, as Saturn is the sixth planet from the sun. It's the uh, sixth sixth day of the week, Saturday, which is today, Saturn's day. So a lot of the symbology would place it as the realm that we're placed into by our source creator, who is the one creator of all. We are handed over to Saturn, or Satan, as people would refer him to, which Satan in Hebrew just means the adversary. And Satan's job here is to try and prove to God that we are good for nothings, that all we care about are our own carnal desires, and that we're willing to throw our brothers under the bus, brothers and sisters under the bus, sacrifice others for the good of our own bodies' wants. So I feel like it's a test for us. Like the Bible has the Old Testament and the New Testament, and I think that that breaks down to a test of mind, as ment is mental of the mind. So I think that the purpose for us to be here is to make our choices. You choose one way or the other, and I've got no judgments for anyone. I chose the carnal desires in the past, and I'm choosing not to go with those now. I choose to go with more the lighter spiritual aspects. I try and mainly eat fruit. Um, when I'm not fasting, I mainly eat fruit and veg and nuts. I don't eat meat, dairy, or eggs anymore. Adiyogi, I've not eaten anything, even avoided water for 36 hours on Mahashivaratri in India. Epic. I need to look into that actually. Mahashivratri. That's Maha meaning great, Shiv meaning Shiva, and Ratri meaning nights. Is it? I've done I've done a 9-day Sattvic diet for Navaratri before. Actually, just gone in where was it? September. I know we've got another one coming up. It's going to be, is it the 30th of March? Is the next Navaratri? I look drained. Thank you, Ibrahim Hussein. I appreciate the comment. I feel really drained today. I feel like I've had barely any sleep. I was up quite late last night. I woke up quite early this morning, and I've been dry fasting all day, so my voice sounds a lot more tired than I feel. This was on the 26th of February. I'm just going to note that down. Do get sleep. I appreciate the concern, brother. I need to I need to put more effort into getting sleep tonight, but I don't think it will be too hard, because I think once I've broken my fast at iftar, I'm gonna be eating a big watermelon. Here's my watermelon for breaking my fast. It's one of these giant watermelons. I think by the time I get halfway into eating that, I'm going to be ready for sleep. I'm just going to make a note of the 26th of February. And Maha Shiv Rathri. I love learning about these things. I still feel like quite a noob when it comes to Inshallah, Alhamdulillah. I'm still very noobish when it comes to learning about religion, when it comes to learning about different traditions. Adiyogi, I suggest you do meditation right now because you're fasting right now. Right now would be cool, actually. But I've got there's people here who are watching, so maybe I'll leave it to you. How do you feel about that? Do you recommend we sit here and attempt some meditation? I could stop talking for a bit. We could try sitting in stillness and silence. Jai Shri Ram. I'm afraid I'm not familiar enough with Hindi. I believe this is Shri. I believe is yes or positive. Ram could be to do with Rama, but I'm afraid my Hindi is very limited. I can sing Tunak Tunak Tun by Dala Mendi, so I can do the Dunia Yara Rangi Barangi Nal Pedi Nari Changi. I spoke before thinking. Been trying to avoid music all day. That's how easy it is. This is how easy it is for me to not watch what's coming out of my mouth. This is what I started talking about at the start of this live stream. It's very easy to lose sight of what's coming out of the mouth. Like it's very easy to watch what's going in. I try and avoid music and I try and avoid any mindless entertainment kind of distractions from when I'm fasting for or during Ramadan. Vishal Bhatri, I sing very well. Thank you, brother. Namaste. I could also chat the sound of the user. Yes. I love the word sounds phonetically like home. And in Greek, is man. So you get Homer's Odyssey was man's journey. Dan, my partner said your voice is very soothing and you have a calming aura about you. I saw your message yesterday that said that. Tell your partner thank you. Honestly, I don't know how it's gotten like this. I think it used to be a lot more dry and scratchy when I was smoking tobacco. It's a lot better now than it used to be. Yeah, with I think that the links between man being Homo erectus, and the French word for fruit, pomme, like feels like fruits were naturally made for man. The natural food source for us, the optimal food source for us, I think, is fruit. I think the amount that we can eat to survive is very vast. Like people have been known to even be able to survive off of eating like other people, like cannibalism in really rough survival situations out in like being marooned in the snow. And I think the ability that the body has to break down and process things to keep you surviving is phenomenal. I wouldn't advise people go eat people, and like if anything, I would advise people to go for the fruits because it's the number one source of fuel for the human body. It's what you get when you need what's it called, glucose as the main body's source of fuel, fructose and glucose, and then you get the uh, it stores into your muscles, it stores in your liver as glycogen as your body processes it, and the glycogen is a good store for energy for later on in the day. I find that when I've gone to the gym and put on muscle before eating a no protein diet, so that was quite phenomenal. Uh, didn't believe it was possible up until that point. I was pretty concerned about doing it, thought I wouldn't push myself too hard. And I found that there wasn't a problem. You can build muscle quite comfortably on just fruit. There's actually a guy called Josh X who has done videos on that. I was going on in the chat. It's now you can shout it like Dan going but I'm not gonna sing. I've already done it once. Yeah, Sam. Hey, how's it going? It's great to have you here. It's nice for it to be this way around. Was in the chip shop. Good man. Chips are an amazing meal. It's one of my favorites. It's probably one of the things I'd consider kryptonite if I had to try and give up cooked food. Adiyogi, where do you live? Is it in Japan? I wish Japan would be an ideal place to live. I live in the UK. I live in close to London, and I would love to live in Japan. I would go for somewhere like Kyoto rather than Tokyo, as I prefer the more traditionalist side. But it would be amazing. Just ignore me. I'm just waffling on. Wait, Dan, I didn't ignore you, did I? No, I didn't. I didn't miss any of your. Yeah, Sam. Feels weird coming in on someone else's live stream. This is my friend Sam from Imagine Freely Twin Flames channel. I always used to listen to his channels talking about spirituality when I was cooking dinner or doing washing up. And I'd get so into the group chats, I'd be talking to Dan, I'd be talking to other friends that were on there. That so many. Uh, Not sure whether or not it's cool to mention their names. Actually, I should give shout outs maybe, but it feels weird to do it without permission to be mentioning names. So yeah, it's good to have you here, Sam. It's interesting to have it this way around. Like so used to it being you talking and me doing the typing. Like yeah, know I'm waffling on now. Waffling on. What do you mean? Are you cooking waffles? I would like probably to make some waffles after I come off of the Lent fast. It's been a long time. Yeah, I've been doing some cleaning out. It's been like when you start fasting, things on the outside seem to reflect the inside. It's almost like the Hermetic wisdom, as above, so below, as within, so without. As you start cleaning your body from within, you'll notice that you start going around and tidying things a lot more. You start cleaning up all of the things in the house that look like they're out of place, throwing away all of the things that look like they could get toxic. Which chakra do you meditate from Adiyogi? I don't specifically choose to meditate to a specific chakra, but I do try and consciously feel where I'm at, like at different times on juice fasts. What I feel is as your energy starts rising, you could almost feel what aligns with you, with what section you're at. So it starts with the root chakra, which is like the physical side of things. It's making sure you've got enough food, making sure you're secure, making sure you're safe. Then you have the sacral chakra, which is the second chakra, and that's like the chakra for reproduction, for sexuality, for creativity in a way. Then it moves on to the solar plexus chakra, which is the breathing. So I find that once I start fasting, that's the first chakra, that's the root chakra. Then it starts lifting you up to the sacral chakra when you abstain from sexual relations. Maybe a bit too much information for some of you, but I practice non ejaculatory sex. I try not to release my seed. I find that it's much more healthy to hold on to it. Your body is able to break down and reassimilate it rather than losing a lot of core elements and substance. Then after the sacral chakra, you move up to the solar plexus, which is deep breathing. So when I'm doing meditation, I try and do a breathing exercise first. I try and do the Wim Hof method, but I'll go onto the Breath Central channel so that I can do extended past a minute and a half. and do the breath holds for up to 3 minutes. And at that point, I've managed to slow my heart rate down and slow down my physiology to the point where it's easier to find that silence without hearing the different things going on in your body. So then, uh, moving up from that, you've got the Anahata chakra, which is the heart chakra. And that's when you feel the compassion. You feel a lot of compassion for people. You feel a lot of balance in the world. It is the middle chakra, so it's where you feel balanced. And after you've made it to that point, you go up to the throat chakra, which is then where you feel like sharing your message because you've got this inspiration inside of you. You feel on top of the world, higher than you ever usually feel, as most people only ever get up to the middle chakra. And then past that, you get to the Ajna chakra, the third eye chakra, and that's when you start having much deeper insights into things. After that is the crown chakra, which once you've burst open the third eye, that's when the information comes in through the crown chakra. That would be what they say, the energy comes in from above. You get a lot of monks that used to have a circular part of their head where they'd actually shave it off. I used to think that it was just going bald from the middle, but they actually used to purposefully shave this part in their head because that is where the light would come in, is through the crown. One sec, I'll see if I can catch up with the chats. Yeah. Adiyogi had advised to meditate on the Agya chakra. Is that the Ajna? Yes, the Ajna chakra on the forehead. Hello, Podcraft. How's it going? New here. What do I practice? I practice spirituality. I practice having a closer connection to God, basically. I believe that there is one source creator who is seen as many different things in many different faiths. If you read many different scriptures, it's all alluding to the same thing, even though some would call it your higher self, some would call it the energies of nature, some would pray to many different positive energies in nature. I do believe that all of these things come from one source creator. There's many that would just pray to the one source creator and see anything else as blasphemy. I don't like seeing these things as blasphemy as such. I think there's many different ways to the top of the mountain. Yeah. 1 second. I appreciate that, Sam. I'm gonna be a little bit busy later on tonight. I'm afraid I've got quite a few things to do tonight, and I've also got to try and catch an early night. I've got this watermelon I'm gonna be breaking my fast with, so I'm only gonna be able to eat so much of it, and I'm gonna be having to cut it up and juice the rest, or find a way of storing it so that it doesn't go bad. And maybe that involves going to the shops to buy some cling film or something. But yeah, I'm going to be live streaming until about 6 o'clock, and that's when I'm going to be breaking my fast. So that's about 25 minutes time, and then I'm going to start preparing for iftar, which is the breaking of the fast. It is, isn't it? It says it's a Malika watermelon. Not sure if you can see the thing. It's backwards anyway. So Malika, I believe, is queen in Arabic, so it's a queen-sized watermelon, which absolutely love watermelons. One of my favorite fruits. If watermelon juice is actually my favorite juice to fast on, it feels incredible. It's not a sattvic fruit though. Adi Yogi, oneself, the creator who existed by himself, Prabrahma or Narayana. Prabrahma, I believe Brahma the creator, Narayana. Got to look that up actually. I'm familiar with quite a few in Hindi words when I was doing the research for the Navaratri video that I done. Oops, that's it. Boo, Seijuru. Nice to have you with us. Excuse me, my throat's going a little bit dry now. It's nice to have you with us. I That was it. I was looking up Narayana. one who rests on water or the home of water, isn't that just perfect? When you have the beginning of the Bible, even when God separates the waters from the waters, that is the first piece of separation, because before that was the um, unity. It was when everything was one. We were all one. We were all water, which is hydrogen, which is element number one on the periodic table. Oh, hey, Kim, I haven't seen you in a long time. How are you doing? It's great to have you here. Thanks for the stream. Good to be here. You're more than welcome. It's a pleasure. Adi Yogi, did I watch Solo Leveling tonight? No, I need to start watching that. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I'm looking forward to watching Shangri-La Frontier with my partner tonight. We've got about 5 episodes of that to watch. Don't try and watch them weekly because there's too much of a cliffhanger at the end of them. Then you end up screaming. I've been busy with work. Are you still doing the tree surgery? Honestly, jealous of your job, man. I've even did a CSCS card course recently with the job center, and I was talking to the woman there about potentially doing some work as a tree surgeon. It would be an awesome job. Though I imagine it being your job, it probably doesn't feel so awesome after you've been doing it for a while. Purple Flash Yash, Godspeed. Godspeed, brother. It's good to have you here. Yeah, there's been quite a lot of you. Haven't really been paying attention to viewers. I see there's 10 of you watching right now. That's good. We've got a nice group of us here. I enjoy having a space where people can talk on the stream. I used to love it on Sam's channel, the Imagine Freely Twin Flames, who you can see in the chat. He's been doing, or was doing, a lot of live chats for a couple of years, having people coming on and discuss different things about spirituality. He was sharing his twin flame journey with us. It's not that bad once you get used to it. I imagine, yeah. It's working in the weather that's quite hard to get used to. I remember that from doing the fencing. It's probably dead. Did you teach the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Do I look like Splinter? I see that as homage. I see that as a compliment. So thank you. I used to love the Turtles, and Splinter was a G. Adi Yogi, I would suggest you read a book on creation, 100 Stories of Mahagatha. Maha means great, I think. What's Gatha? I'll definitely take this suggestion. I love reading these things. I absolutely love etymologies as well. I spend all day looking up etymologies sometimes. It's, oh, Gatha from story. I think Gatha means story. I'm going to double check this because I've only got this through context at the moment. Do I believe in God? I do believe in God, Colton Jackson, 100%. I believe that there is one source creator that we all came from, and that when we return, we will all return to one. And yeah, I'm not entirely sure what that would look like or what that would feel like, whether that is what it is like to have a house in Jannah, if that's what it looks like to be in the afterlife, if that's what I don't honestly know, but I do believe that we all initially came from the one, and whatever happens after this life might not necessarily be the joining of us with source creator, but at the end of all of this massive cycle, we will all join back up and become one with our creator again. 1 second, Gatha. It refers to song or verse. Brilliant. So it's a great song, like the universe. So it's probably dead. Like, yes, you look wise. Thank you. I appreciate that. I think wisdom comes through making mistakes a lot of the time. So if I look wise, just bear in mind I've made a lot of mistakes. I believe there's a power with every one of us, only science and physics can prove. Um, I mean, the art of science and physics is the art of trying to find proof. It's about dissecting things and isolating things to try and find more information about each individual part of the main thing. So, hey, brother, I am eating my food. Um, enjoy your food, brother. I hope I didn't say anything to put you off your food. Could I get your number? You're welcome to join my Discord. Like I've managed to talk to people over Discord before. I won't be available tonight for talking, but I could try and find some time to put aside for a conversation at some point. Um, ah, it's Shinjitsu Master on Discord, but I don't know the address. I should learn from Sam actually how he used to be able to put little messages at the top of the live stream where it would have a link to the Discord or something. He ain't wise. That hair and bead and glasses is from the joke shop. It's stuck on. He's seen through my disguise. What am I doing, bro? I'm just generally waffling on at the moment. So at the moment, just trying to get used to how live streaming works because I've got very little experience. I came on yesterday and spent half of the time with the camera tipped over like this because I wasn't quite sure how it was supposed to go. And then when I tipped it like this, it narrowed the screen on the other thing. So I thought I was doing it wrong. Message retracted. Oh, okay. My voice is too low. It's where I'm dry fasting at the moment. It's lower than usual. You'll notice the difference when Ramadan's finished, and I'll be drinking a lot of fruit juice for Lent. That's when I go fully hydrated. My voice raises in pitch a little bit, and I get very excited because I get high on all the fruit sugars. Ah, thank you, Sam. I appreciate that. That was I thought I made many mistakes yesterday. So if some of you thought it was good, then it, it was at least not as terrible as I thought. I look like I dabble in psychedelics. I did for many years. I haven't taken any in a long time. It's been about 2 years since I've had a psychedelic trip. I actually used to take mushrooms because I thought that mushrooms and cannabis, the two natural drugs, but to be fair, you don't really need them. When I'm on fruit fasts now, I end up feeling so high. It's like the chakra level is here, I feel up here. And if I have any cannabis, especially, it's like green, it's like the anahata chakra, it will bring me down to the middle chakra. Whereas when you're feeling low in the lower chakras, you take it and it makes you feel high. When you get to a certain level of high, all it will do is bring you down. So I try not to go with mushrooms. I don't often eat mushrooms in my food. I sometimes have them in like when I have cooked food. Usually, if I go to a restaurant or something, like their vegan option will include mushrooms, so I'll go for it then. But I try not to go for too many because I recognize that it is fungus. It is something that it helps break things down. And if you eat too much, then it might latch on to parts of your body and start breaking those down. So let's see. I hope I've not missed any of your messages. Uh, See you meditate and GN Ram Ram. I'm not sure what GN Ram Ram means, but hey, I guess that's very interesting. So you wouldn't recommend psychedelics to an average person? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't recommend any drugs for anyone. I mean, you do you. I'm not judging. I've had some amazing times on them. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say that I didn't enjoy them, but I wouldn't recommend them. I would definitely recommend fruit over drugs any day. Like even when it comes to, I don't take any pharmaceutical painkillers or anything. I try and stay away from everything uh, Western medicine based. They all come with side effects. Now, if anything goes wrong, the first place I go to, the first thing I do is start fasting. And that was even what Dr. Sebi used to do to people. He'd get people as soon as they turn up to him and ask him for help with their medical problems. The first thing he does is prescribe them with fasting. Um, Hey, what's up, Pepino 2024? I'm having a wonderful day. It's a lot better. I had a bit of a dark night of the soul last night. I had yesterday daytime, I was feeling a bit stressed because I was struggling to get the YouTube live streaming to work, and I'd already said that was coming on, and I felt a lot of unnecessary pressures, and I allowed myself to fall under the weight of the world and started listening to the voice in your head that starts telling you that you're a loser and you're worthless. You should never listen to that voice. I find that today I don't have to. I feel a lot more comfortable, a lot more content, a lot more loved. It's great. Self love is one of the best things that you can find. And I don't mean in an egotistical way of, oh, you really love yourself. But I mean like the love where you actually care for and look after. Love. Like the love is a doing word. Tell us here, well, there are people who say that everyone could benefit from at least one good trip. That's why I'm asking. I like your mentality about it, though. Yeah, I have to admit, I've seen a lot of people advising that. I wouldn't go as far as to advise that myself. I know that a lot of people tend to go for ayahuasca. They will go find a shaman in the forest, and that will be their experience. The ayahuasca, I think, is DMT, which is dimethyltryptamine, and that actually exists in your third eye chakra. It's inside the pineal gland. There was someone that managed to do something with a camera and found that there was these DMT crystals inside of your pineal gland. And I think that what happens when you have the experience through meditation, through the Kundalini energy, is it shoots up your spine and it causes pressure in the pineal gland, which causes something called pizochromatism, which is a compressing of the dimethyltryptamine crystals, and it causes lights and colors to shoot out, which then affect your vision because it's connected to the eyes. It's like the optic thalamus is connected, and that gives you the trip effect. Taking drugs feels like the cheat code version of doing it. So it's like there's a natural way, which is what is like the hidden knowledge, which is hidden in a lot of scriptures. It's there, but you wouldn't know it's there unless you would knew what you were looking for. But the instructions are there. It's just that you would only find out about it if you were to follow these instructions without thinking there was some kind of reward at the end. So, Universe King, I'm not ignoring you. One sec. What have I missed out? Let's go back. Oh, my age. I'm 37 years old. It's coming up to my birthday on the 25th of March. So I'm coming close to 38, 38. So getting old now. Got very much head of grey hair. Got grey bits on my beard. In fact, I think the grey hair was because when I was 13, 14, started bleaching my hair with peroxide. Yeah, big Eminem fan. So that did a lot of damage. I think that that was one of the reasons I started losing the hair color, but I'm at least not losing my hair yet. So I'm thankful for that. Happy with having it grey. I don't dye it anymore because I don't like the idea of the dyes being absorbed into my roots, as I think that that could do a lot of damage to your brain, and especially some of these chemicals are quite damaging. Last time I dyed my hair, it was temporarily with henna, which was a lot less damaging, so a lot less to worry about. Imagine freely twin flames saying cosmic energies this month. Speak about that, man. It's the most intense. I wish I could. Honestly, it's the alignment of the planets. There was recently a lot of things that have shifted that have caused so many things to feel like extra pressure, extra nerves, extra. Yesterday, I felt an overwhelming amount of nerves for no reason, like other than there must be some change in the outside. It's like these things that go on, they don't always necessarily have an effect on your life. We've always got free will. We can always choose what we do. Uh, but the energy that you feel, the influence that you feel, sometimes that can be quite strong, and you're not sure where the urges are coming from. Talasi, whoop whoop, happy early birthday, brother. Cheers to many more years. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm quite comfortable with being an old guy now, starting to get to the point where people are calling the music that came about after my time as dad music. So I realize I'm definitely at that stage. Get confused when using social media and YouTube now. So yeah, I've got to just accept growing old gracefully now. Not really anything I feel sad about though. Something that we all do, and hopefully I'm gonna be able to learn how to age like a fine wine instead of aging like milk. So I think that maybe the fruit will help with that. So yeah, I could. Your birthday is on April 28th. Is that would that make you a Taurus? That's a pretty interesting date. Let's just double check. Pretty sure it is. Yeah, March 21st to April 21st. You would be a Taurus. Uh, One sec. I'll have a look at the planet locations today. I've noticed the past couple of days because it's been full moon. There's been a lot of energy. I'm not sure if any of you noticed, but Tulasi is a Taurus as well. Brilliant. April 30th. Your birthdays are so close. That's 2 days. That's 2 days away. That's absolutely brilliant. The Aries is often referred to as the ram, the Taurus is the bull, and you notice that the two areas of the mind, you've got the cerebrum and the cerebellum, and them two parts of your brain going back and forth is what helps you to ramble like I'm doing now. So I imagine our conversations would be able to ramble on for a long time. Yeah, I'm going to have a look at the rest of the planet locations. I'm not sure if any of you know, but when the full moon is out, there is a lot of tension in the air. A lot of emergency services are twice as busy. There's a lot more call outs in the ambulances and uh, police stations. I know this from talking to people. I did Google this once and it told me it was a myth, but I know from talking to people, they've said that the places they work have gotten a lot more busy. I know from going out and about and seeing people going mad, it's all of the loonies come out when the moon is full. And that makes sense because the Latin word for moon is luna. So you get all of the lunatics. How many fasting have you have done, brother? Um, I've actually lost count. I started about 3 years ago. I've probably done about 20 different fasts. Uh, but that would be including things that it's not really a fast, it's more of a restricted diet, like eating just sattvic foods for Navaratri, or having like the fast I'm doing for Lent, where it's eating fruit and drinking fruit juice. So it's not really a fast as fast is to abstain from food or food and water completely. Whereas what you're doing there is like abstaining. So yeah, probably about 20 times, separate times. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find the planet locations website that I usually look at. The planets today, that's the one. I like this one because it has a geocentric view, which is I'm gonna see if I can show you. You've got the different houses. It'll tell you where all of the planets are. It'll give you the diagrammatic view and to scale view, so it'll tell you what you'd be more likely to see in terms of actual distance. But the best one is the geocentric view because it lets you know what house the energies are in. And ooh, we've got Venus in retrograde in Aries. Okay, yep, that kind of makes sense. Yeah, Venus, ruler of Taurus, actually, ruler of the love life, ruler of the neck. The Tauruses represent the neck, so it's quite interesting. They've got like the energy of Taurus. You would expect with Taurus being the bull, being the hard worker, the one that has the weight on his shoulders and keeps moving forward, the strong, secure one. It's actually seen as a feminine sign. So you've got whereas ruled by Venus. Like they say, men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Aries ruled by Mars is seen as more of a masculine sign, but the Aries rules the head and Taurus rules the neck. And as they say about the perfect balance of man and woman, it's like the man would be the head of the house, but the woman is the neck that guides the head in the right direction. See, without being guided into the right direction, it's very easily to just charge in and butt heads with people. Because that's what we are. Me being an Aries, I'm a butthead. That's what we are. We're butt heads. We butt heads with people a lot. That's the curse of being an Aries. Right, it is now 3 minutes to 6. I'm going to be preparing to break my fast as it's coming close to iftar here in the UK. So I'm going to take this opportunity to wrap it up. If any of you got any questions quickly that you'd like to ask, now is the time. Otherwise, I'd like to say a big thank you for all of you being here. It's great to have people joining in and putting messages forth. I like having this space where we're able to talk like this. I think that it's good to have these places. I used to enjoy these a lot when I was watching them on Sam's channel and other people's channels. Yeah, so gonna try and do a few of these. I'll see you soon, brother. It's been great having you here. I'm gonna try and do these. I'm not sure how often. It probably won't be daily, but I will try and do as often as I manage to find time. And I should put up a little message about them beforehand on my YouTube page. You're welcome to subscribe to the YouTube page. Like, otherwise, I've got a Discord page that you're welcome to go to. I'll see if I can post messages in there. Um, yeah, otherwise, it's been great. So, thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for more. Catch you soon, Sam. Bye.